So today I started off by going down to the costume room to have a look at what different costumes were there and what I could use, what was already there that I could use before like going out and thinking about sourcing things from other places. Um, and I did that today because I now have the cast list, so I have a general idea of the kind of sizing that I will need and the fit. Obviously, it won't be perfect. I need to get the actors to try them on, but for now it puts me to be able to look at something and be like, right, that's in the right kind of size. I can keep that and hold it. So I found a lot of like block colored t-shirts, which is really useful as it's a nice base for a lot of costumes. So I'll probably use quite a lot of them. I put all of the things that I found that I thought would be useful on one rail so I can come back to them later and check them over and start building costumes from that probably. Um, and I need to go back and have another look for more sci-fi related costumes for the sci-fi convention because there were some things that I think could have been used that I need to add on to that rail. And what I used to help me when I was down there was I had a list of the characters, and I also had my document that I made uh, last week that just had some of the ideas of what items might be used in some drawings just to give me more of an idea to like remember what I was looking for while I was in there, so I didn't like really forget anything. And if I could keep it with me and go, oh, actually, that would work rather than just relying on my memory for that. And then in the afternoon, I started putting together a list of um, what kind of items I would need for each character, just so I can start going through and one that I can tick off more easily. As with this document that I had, it's not quite as an easy list. It's more tick the whole character rather than each individual item. So it was just trying to get that up as more of a starting point, just to help me see more of where I am and help me get my deadlines better. I also then talked to our production manager, Joe, who I showed some of the photos that I'd taken of each item in the costume room, which I had done so that I could reference them later and have a record of them. And if I have a specific item I want to find again, I can look through my photos and use it to match up. Um, as you mentioned, making sure not to have anything that's too patterned with like too much of a small pattern, as the shirt that she was referencing to I think had quite a small floral pattern and it was quite busy. So to stay away from things like that and go for more blocky, larger patterns that are more visible and more cartoonish, I suppose. And then she also mentioned having like more a difference in color palettes between the geeks and the popular students. So I thought about having maybe warmer colors for the geeks and colder colors for the jocks because they're sort of the villains in the story, I suppose, because they are going against the geeks and trying to steal their ideas for their own gain. So it makes more sense for them to have a cooler sort of eviler vibe to their color and their costumes, and then we want to root for the geeks, so we want them to be like a bit warmer, a bit happier. Because I felt like it's all very bright, it's all very cartoonish, like comics and the things at the time that they're interested in. Like with Star Trek, it's all these reds and yellows and blues. So I don't think it would make sense for the geeks to be more beige, although that probably might be a more obvious route to go down. So I'm not entirely sold on it being warm versus cool yet. So I need to think about that a bit more. And then to help me with that, I drew up some of the outlines of what I'd already done digitally, so I could just switch the colours around more easily, so I could have a better idea of what different colours palettes would look like with each character faster than doing it by hand, because that can take quite a lot longer. Whereas if I'm doing it digitally, I can make several copies of one thing very quickly and switch it out again very quickly. So that'll be helpful when deciding what I want to do.